Welcome to Today English Podcast, the place where you learn to listen, feel, and speak English like a storyteller. Today, we begin a journey. A small, simple day, but inside it, we will find meaning, emotion, and a little bit of magic. Our story is called A Day at School. So, take a deep breath and imagine this. The morning light slowly touches the window. It's soft, golden, and warm. You can hear a few birds outside, singing quietly as if they are saying, "Wake up, it's time to start again." The room is still. The alarm clock hasn't rung yet. But inside the blanket, someone moves. That's our main character, Tom. He's a student, about 15 years old. Not too young, not too old. He lies in bed, half awake, thinking, I wish I could sleep 5 more minutes. Maybe you know that feeling too. The bed feels so warm. The morning feels too bright. And the day, well, the day hasn't even started yet, but already it feels full of things to do. The alarm starts to ring. Beep, beep, beep. Tom's hand slowly reaches out and stops it. He looks at the clock. 7 a.m. A small sigh escapes his mouth. Okay, let's do this, he whispers. He sits up. The air feels cool. He can smell the morning, that clean, soft smell that comes after the night. He rubs his eyes, stands, and stretches. The light from the window grows stronger. Dust dances in the air like tiny stars. It's just another school day, but somehow this morning feels different. He doesn't know why yet. But maybe that's what makes life interesting. We never know when something small will change us. Tom moves to the mirror. His hair looks like a bird's nest. He smiles a little, grabs his comb, and starts fixing it. He puts on his school uniform, a simple white shirt, dark pants, and a small school badge on his chest. He looks at himself again. He looks fine. Maybe a little sleepy, but fine. He picks up his backpack, checks inside, books, notebook, pencil case, lunchbox, everything is there. Before leaving his room, he looks again at his desk. There's a drawing there, a half-finished sketch of a tree. He started it last night but didn't finish. He likes drawing, but he doesn't tell many people. It's something private, something that makes him feel calm. He whispers to himself, I'll finish you later. Then he walks out. In the kitchen, his mother is already busy. You can hear the sound of a frying pan, the smell of eggs, the sound of a kettle boiling water. She looks at him and smiles. Morning, Tom, she says warmly. Morning, Mom, he answers softly. Breakfast is almost ready, she says. He nods, sits at the table, and slowly begins to wake up more. The radio is playing softly in the background, a cheerful voice reading the morning news. Tom doesn't really listen to it. He's thinking about school. He has a math test today, and he's not sure if he's ready. Numbers always make him a little nervous. He's good at English, and he loves art, but math, that's another story. His mom puts a plate of eggs and toast in front of him. Eat well, she says. You'll need your energy. He smiles a little. Yes, Mom. They eat quietly for a moment. The sound of spoons and forks fills the room. Outside, you can hear a few cars starting, dogs barking, the neighborhood waking up. Tom looks at the window again. The sunlight is brighter now. The day is waiting. His mom notices the quiet look on his face. She asks gently, everything okay? Tom nods. Yeah, just thinking. About what? She asks. He hesitates, then says, the test. And stuff. She smiles kindly. You always worry too much. Just do your best, that's enough. He looks at her and, for a moment, feels calm. Thanks, Mom. She puts her hand on his shoulder and says softly, remember, school is not only about tests. It's also about learning who you are. He thinks about those words. Learning who you are. What does that even mean? He doesn't know yet. But maybe today he will start to understand. After breakfast, He brushes his teeth, ties his shoes, and stands at the door. His mom gives him his lunchbox. "Be good," she says. "I will. See you later." "Bye, Mom." He steps outside. The air is cool and fresh. He can smell the trees and the morning dew. The street is full of sounds: footsteps, bicycles, children laughing, a dog barking somewhere. He walks toward the bus stop. The world feels awake now. The sun is higher, touching the rooftops, painting everything gold. Tom likes this time of day. It's quiet, but full of energy. It's like the world is whispering, something new is coming. At the bus stop, a few other students are waiting. They wear the same uniform, the same sleepy faces, holding their phones or bags. Tom knows some of them. They go to the same school, but no one is talking yet. It's too early for conversation. Just a few quiet good mornings and soft yawns. He looks at the road. No bus yet. He checks his watch. 7:30, it should be here soon. He looks at the sky, light blue, no clouds. A perfect morning. He thinks, maybe today will be okay. While he waits, he takes out his earphones. He likes listening to music in the morning. It helps him think. He plays a slow song. The melody fills his mind. He starts to imagine things: the classroom, his friends, the teacher smiling, the sound of laughter. He imagines himself drawing after class or maybe playing football later. He feels a little better now. Suddenly, the bus turns the corner. It's big and yellow, shining in the sun. He can hear the sound of the engine as it stops in front of them. The door opens with a soft hiss. Students begin to climb in, one by one. Tom steps inside. The smell of metal and old seats greets him. The driver nods, morning. Tom nods back, morning. He walks down the aisle, finds a seat near the window, and sits down. The bus starts moving again. The city slowly rolls by outside: houses, shops, trees, people walking to work. Everything feels alive, moving, breathing. Tom looks at his reflection in the window. The sunlight makes his face look brighter. He feels a strange mix of nervousness and hope. Maybe today will be different. Maybe something will happen, something good. He doesn't know what, but he feels it deep inside. As the bus drives past the corner of the park, he sees a little girl with her father, feeding pigeons. He watches for a few seconds. It's such a simple thing, but it makes him smile. There's peace in that moment, a small, quiet beauty that no one else seems to notice. He whispers to himself, life is strange. Some days feel so small, and still, they mean so much. The bus continues down the road, the engine humming softly. Tom closes his eyes for a moment. He thinks about the day ahead, the lessons, the test, his friends, maybe lunch under the tree. He doesn't know what the day will bring, but he knows one thing: every day at school is a new story. And today, he's ready to live it. The bus turns again, and in the distance, he can already see the red brick building of his school. It stands tall under the morning sun, with flags waving and voices echoing in the courtyard. The sound grows louder as the bus gets closer: laughter, footsteps, bells ringing. The sound of life. The sound of youth. The driver slows down and stops. The door opens again. Tom stands, takes a deep breath, and steps off. The ground feels solid beneath his feet. He adjusts his bag and looks at the school gates. He smiles a little. "Let's go," he whispers. And just like that, the story begins. Sometimes life doesn't start with a big change. Sometimes it starts with a simple morning, a new day, a new breath, a small decision to keep going. Tom doesn't know yet, but this ordinary day will teach him something extraordinary. Something about friendship, courage, and understanding who he really is. So, stay with me. Because the real story, the real day at school, is just beginning. The bus door closes with a hiss. The sound of the engine grows louder, deep and steady. Tom feels the soft vibration under his feet as the bus begins to move again. The morning sun shines through the window, making lines of gold on the floor. He sits quietly, his bag on his lap, watching the city go by. The seats are full now, students laughing, talking, yawning. There's a warm smell of morning air mixed with perfume and the faint scent of pencil cases and packed lunches. It's a small world, the world of a school bus, but for a moment, it feels alive, full of stories waiting to happen. Tom sits near the middle, next to the window. He likes the window seat. It makes him feel calm. Outside, trees move past like waves. Shops, bicycles, streetlights, everything moves together, like a movie. He rests his cheek against the cool glass. A familiar voice breaks the silence. "Hey, Tom. You're quiet today." Tom turns and sees Ben, his best friend since primary school. Ben is tall, always smiling, always full of energy. He's wearing the same uniform, but his tie is messy and his hair is wild. Typical Ben. Tom smiles. Morning. Ben sits beside him and bumps his shoulder playfully. "You look half asleep." "I feel half asleep," Tom says with a small laugh. Ben grins. "Don't worry, the test will wake you up." Tom groans softly. "Don't remind me." "Relax, man. It's just math. What's the worst that can happen?" "I could fail," Tom says quietly. Ben laughs loudly. "Then we'll fail together." Tom shakes his head but smiles. That's what he likes about Ben. Nothing seems to scare him. He always finds a reason to laugh, even when things are hard. A few rows ahead, two girls are talking loudly. They're laughing about something on one of their phones. The bus driver looks at them through the mirror, but says nothing. Someone at the back is playing music quietly through earphones. A group of boys are discussing football. It's noisy, but in a friendly way, like the sound of life itself. Ben leans closer. "Did you study?" Tom shrugs. "A bit." "You?" "Of course," Ben says proudly. Then he laughs. "Okay, maybe not much." Tom shakes his head. Typical. "Hey," Ben says, pretending to be serious, "maybe if I sit next to you, I'll learn through osmosis." Tom frowns. "Through what?" "Osmosis," Ben repeats, smiling. "You know, when water moves through something in science." Tom laughs. "That's not how learning works, Ben." "Sure it is. I sit near a smart person, I get smarter." "Then you should sit next to the teacher," Tom says. Ben gasps dramatically. "Brilliant idea." They both laugh. The laughter feels good. It makes Tom forget his nerves for a while. The bus turns a corner, and Tom sees a group of small children walking to a different school, their bags almost as big as their bodies. One of them waves at the bus. Ben waves back enthusiastically, making a funny face. The kids laugh. Tom can't help smiling too. It's such a simple moment, but somehow it fills the morning with warmth. He thinks quietly, maybe life is full of small joys. You just have to notice them. Ben suddenly says, "You're thinking again, aren't you?" Tom blinks. "What?" "You always get that face when you start thinking about deep stuff." Tom laughs. "Maybe I do." "What are you thinking about this time?" Tom looks out the window. Nothing special. Just how mornings always feel like beginnings. Ben nods, pretending to understand. "Wow, that's deep." "I was just thinking about sandwiches." Tom laughs again. "Of course you were." The bus moves through the city center now. Tall buildings rise on both sides, glass shining in the sunlight. People cross the streets, some walking fast, some slow. A man is selling coffee at the corner. A woman holds her child's hand. Life moves everywhere. Tom watches silently, feeling like the world is a story, and everyone is a character in it. He thinks, maybe every person has their own day, their own small adventure, just like me. The bus slows down for a red light. Ben opens his bag and takes out a small notebook. "What's that?" Tom asks. My secret weapon, Ben says proudly. He opens it, and Tom sees pages full of numbers, but they're not from the math class. They're football scores. Ben laughs when he sees Tom's expression. Hey, data is data. I'm learning. Tom shakes his head. Unbelievable. The light turns green. The bus moves again. Ben leans back and yawns. You know, sometimes I wish school started later. Tom nods. Yeah, mornings are too early. Ben grins. His quiet smile. Maybe one day, when we're grown-ups, we can start our own school. Classes begin at noon. No homework. Free snacks. Tom laughs. And no math? Ben gasps. Exactly. You get it. They both laugh again. The sound of their laughter mixes with the hum of the bus and the soft wind coming through the open window. It feels like a moment that will stay forever, even if it's just an ordinary morning. As the bus drives further, the buildings start to disappear, replaced by green trees and open fields. The city slowly becomes quieter. Tom looks outside again. He can see the edge of the school now, red brick walls and a tall white clock tower. His heart beats a little faster. The test is waiting. But strangely, he doesn't feel scared now. He feels ready. Maybe it's the laughter. Maybe it's the sunshine. Maybe it's just the feeling of being with a friend who makes everything lighter. Ben notices H. What are you smiling about? Nothing, Tom says softly. Come on, tell me. Tom looks at him. Just thinking that, maybe today won't be so bad. Ben nods with a grin. That's the spirit. Positive energy. He raises his hand for a high five. Tom laughs and joins him. Clap. The bus driver glances in the mirror and smiles. He's seen this friendship grow every morning, the quiet one and the loud one. Different, but connected. He shakes his head softly, amused. As the bus approaches the school gate, the sound of students grows louder. You can hear footsteps, laughter, voices calling each other's names. Ben looks at Tom and says, ready to face another day of knowledge and mystery? Tom raises an eyebrow. Mystery? Ben nods seriously. Yeah, like why teachers always give homework right before the weekend. Tom laughs again. True mystery. The bus slows down, turns, and stops. The engine hum fades, replaced by the sound of doors opening and the rush of students standing up. The air feels warmer now, full of energy and life. Ben stands, slings his bag over his shoulder, and says, come on, philosopher. Time to enter the battlefield. Tom smiles. You mean the classroom? Same thing, Ben says dramatically. They step off the bus together. Outside, the schoolyard is busy. Students are everywhere, some chatting, some running, some still sleepy. The morning sun makes the walls glow. The flag flutters gently in the wind. Some teachers stand near the gate, greeting students with warm smiles. Tom feels the familiar mix of excitement and nervousness. It's the same every day, but today it feels stronger. Maybe because of the test. Maybe because of something else he doesn't understand yet. He looks at the main building. The big doors are open. The bell hasn't rung yet. There's still time. He takes a deep breath and feels the air fill his lungs. A new day has truly begun. Ben stretches his arms and says, all right, I'm going to get some water. See you inside. Tom nods. Okay. Ben jogs away, waving. Tom watches him go, then looks around the yard again. The sound of the bus leaving behind them fades slowly. He can hear laughter, footsteps, the rustle of trees, the smell of morning grass. Everything feels alive. He stands there for a moment, feeling the sun on his face. Then, quietly, he says to himself, let's make today a good one. He walks toward the school doors, heart steady, mind calm. And as Tom steps inside, the sound of the world changes, the sound of voices becomes an echo, the light grows softer, and the real story of the day begins to unfold. He doesn't know it yet, but inside those walls, he will learn more than just lessons from books. He will learn about people, choices, mistakes, and small moments that shape who we become. Because school isn't just a place to study. It's a place to grow, to understand yourself, and to discover what kind of person you want to be. Tom walks through the wide hallway of the school. His shoes make soft sounds on the clean floor. The walls are covered with posters, colorful drawings, announcements, smiling faces from old photos. He passes a few students talking by the lockers. Some wave at him, and he smiles back politely. He isn't the loudest person in school, but he isn't invisible either. He's somewhere in the middle, the kind of student people know, but not everyone really knows. He walks slowly, looking at the morning light coming through the windows. It falls in long golden lines across the hallway. He feels calm, but his heart beats a little faster as he gets closer to his classroom. When he finally reaches the door, he pauses for a second. He hears laughter inside, his classmates already chatting. He takes a deep breath, opens the door, and steps in. The room smells of chalk and paper. The morning sun makes the whiteboard shine. Desks are arranged neatly, though a few chairs are already slightly turned. Some students never sit straight. Tom walks to his usual seat near the middle, next to the window. He places his bag down and sits quietly. "Morning, Tom." It's Sarah, one of his classmates. She has bright eyes and always seems happy. "Morning," Tom replies with a smile. "Ready for the test?" she asks, half joking, half serious. Tom laughs softly. "Not really." "Same," she says, rolling her eyes. "I studied last night, but I still don't get half of it." Tom nods. "At least we'll fail together." Sarah grins. "That's the spirit." At that moment, Ben walks in, holding a bottle of water. My loyal followers," he says dramatically. "Ready for battle?" Sarah laughs. "You're impossible, Ben." Ben gives a proud smile. "I know." The three of them chat quietly while more students arrive. The noise in the classroom grows, chairs moving, books opening, friends greeting each other. It's the sound of a new school day beginning. Suddenly, the sound of the school bell fills the air. It's loud, clear, and familiar. Ding! Ding! The conversations slowly fade. Everyone moves to their seats. Tom feels a small shiver run through him. Here we go. The door opens and Mr. Harris, their math teacher, walks in. He's a tall man with glasses and kind eyes, but when he's serious, everyone listens. He carries a pile of papers in one hand and a cup of coffee in the other. "Good morning, everyone," he says in a calm voice. "Good morning, sir," the class answers together. Mr. Harris smiles. "I hope you're all ready for today's little challenge." A few students groan quietly. He chuckles. "Oh, come on. It's just a small test. Nothing to worry about." "You've all done the practice exercises, right?" Ben whispers, "Define done." Tom tries not to laugh. Mr. Harris begins to hand out the test papers. One by one, they land on each desk. The sound of paper sliding across wood fills the room. Tom looks at the test paper in front of him. His heart beats a little faster. Numbers, symbols, and questions stare back at him. For a moment, it feels like the page is speaking a language he doesn't fully understand. He takes a deep breath. It's okay, he tells himself. Just one question at a time. He picks up his pencil and begins. At first, it's not so bad. The first few questions are easy, simple calculations. But then, halfway through, the problems become harder. He stops. He stares at the page, trying to think. He can hear the soft sounds around him, pencils moving, chairs creaking, a cough, the ticking of the classroom clock. It feels like time is moving faster now. He looks at the clock. Only 10 minutes have passed, but it feels like 20. He tries another question. then another. Some he answers. Some he skips. His pencil shakes a little. He bites his lip. Then he hears a whisper from the next desk, Ben's voice. "Hey," Ben says quietly, "what's the answer to number 5? Tom doesn't reply. He knows he shouldn't. Mr. Harris doesn't like talking during tests. He keeps his eyes on his paper. But then a louder whisper comes. "Come on, man. Just one answer." Before Tom can respond, Mr. Harris looks up. "Ben." Ben freezes. "Yes, sir." Mr. Harris raises an eyebrow. "Is there a problem?" Ben shakes his head quickly. "No, sir. Just stretching." The class laughs softly. Mr. Harris gives a small smile. "Good. Then please stretch quietly." Everyone giggles again. Ben hides his face behind his paper. Tom tries not to laugh. For a moment, the tension in the room disappears. Even during a test, laughter can make things lighter. Tom returns to his paper. He doesn't know all the answers, but he keeps going. He writes what he can. He does his best. And as he works, something small changes inside him. He realizes that the real challenge isn't the test, it's the fear of it. Once you start, it's never as bad as your imagination made it. When the bell rings again, signaling the end of the period, everyone sighs with relief. Mr. Harris stands and says, "All right, time's up. Please put your pencils down." Students start closing their papers. Some look happy, some look tired, some just shrug. Mr. Harris collects the tests, smiling kindly. "Good work, everyone. I know tests can be stressful, but remember, they don't measure your worth. They just show where you can grow." Tom looks at him and feels something in those words. He smiles softly. Maybe school isn't only about answers. Maybe it's about learning how to face challenges, even small ones. When Mr. Harris leaves, the classroom fills with noise again. Everyone starts talking, sharing answers, comparing what they wrote. Ben turns to Tom. "Okay, confession time. I had no idea what question 8 was about." Tom laughs. "That makes 2 of us." Sarah leans over from the next row. "Was number 3 about triangles or traps?" Ben laughs loudly. "It was definitely a trap." The 3 of them laugh together. It's a small moment of connection, simple but real. For a few minutes, they forget about grades and scores. They just enjoy being together, being students, being young. As the noise continues, Tom looks out the window again. The sun is higher now, the light brighter. He sees a few clouds moving slowly across the blue sky. It's beautiful in a quiet way. He thinks about the test, about his morning, about what his mom said earlier. School is not only about tests. It's also about learning who you are. He whispers softly, maybe she's right. The next teacher hasn't arrived yet, so the students have a few minutes of free time. Ben takes out a pack of chips from his bag. Sarah shakes her head. "You're going to get in trouble again." Ben smiles. "Only if I get caught." He offers one to Tom. Tom hesitates, then takes it. "You're crazy." Ben laughs. "Thank you." They sit quietly, sharing the chips, watching the sunlight dance on the desks. Every classroom has its own small stories, the laughter after a hard test, the quiet thoughts that come after trying, the lessons that aren't written in any book. Tom doesn't know it yet, but this morning has already changed something inside him. He's learning to face what he fears, to laugh even when things are hard, to find calm in small, simple moments. The sound of the next bell rings again, and just like that, it's time for the next part of the day, new lessons, new faces, new stories waiting to unfold. The bell rings again. It's not the sharp sound of the morning bell. This one feels softer, freer. It's the sound everyone has been waiting for. The sound of lunch break. Students cheer quietly, closing their books, pushing chairs, stretching their arms. The air in the classroom feels lighter. Even the sunlight seems happier now. Tom closes his notebook and leans back, breathing out with relief. The morning is over. The test is done. And now, it's time to eat. Ben turns around in his chair. Operation Lunch begins, he says proudly. Sarah laughs. You make it sound like a mission. Ben nods seriously. Because it is a mission. The mission to find food and happiness. Tom shakes his head, smiling. You're ridiculous. Thank you, Ben says. Let's go. They grab their lunch boxes and head toward the school courtyard. The hallway is alive with voices. Doors open, footsteps echo, laughter bounces off the walls. Some students hurry to the cafeteria, others run to the playground. Tom walks with his friends through the noise, feeling the energy of the crowd. He likes this moment, the freedom between classes when everyone is simply themselves. Outside, the courtyard is full of light. There's a big oak tree in the center, its shadow covering a few benches. Groups of students sit everywhere, chatting, eating, sharing jokes. The air smells of food and sunshine. The soft wind moves through the leaves. Tom and his friends find their usual spot, a bench under the tree. It's their favorite place. It feels peaceful, even when the world around them is loud. Ben opens his lunchbox quickly. Feast your eyes, he says, showing 2 sandwiches, a banana, and a chocolate bar. Sarah laughs. You always eat like it's a festival. Ben grins. Every meal should be a festival. Tom opens his lunchbox quietly. Rice, vegetables, and a small piece of chicken his mom made it this morning. He feels a small warmth in his heart. He whispers softly, "Thanks, Mom." For a while, they just eat quietly. The sound of laughter and the singing of birds fill the air. It's a good moment, calm, simple, full of small happiness. Sarah breaks the silence first. So, how do you think you did on the test? Ben sighs dramatically. I think I made new records. Tom laughs. In what? Wrong answers. Exactly, Ben says proudly. I'm an artist. My mistakes are creative. Sarah shakes her head. You're impossible. Ben smiles. Yes, but I'm fun. They all laugh together. Then Sarah says softly, honestly, I think I failed too. Tom looks at her. You? You always study. She nods. Yeah, but I panicked. My mind went blank. Tom understands that feeling. He says gently, it's okay. One test doesn't define you. Sarah smiles. Thanks. You sound like Mr. Harris. Tom laughs. Maybe he's right, though. For a few minutes, they talk about their favorite subjects, about art class and English. Tom feels comfortable, like time has slowed down. But then something happens. A ball rolls across the grass and stops near their feet. A group of older students run after it, laughing loudly. One of them, tall, wearing a red cap, picks it up and looks at Tom's group. Hey, thanks, he says, smiling, but there's something sharp in his tone. Ben nods. No problem. The older boy looks at Ben's sandwich and laughs. Wow, that's a big lunch. No wonder you run so slow in P. His friends laugh. Ben's smile fades a little. He tries to laugh too, but it sounds forced. Yeah, guess so. The older boys walk away, still laughing. Sarah frowns. That was rude. Ben shrugs, pretending not to care. It's fine. Tom looks at him quietly. You okay? Ben waves his hand. Of course. Just words. But Tom can see it in his eyes, the little sting those words left behind. He doesn't know what to say, so he just sits beside him quietly. Sometimes, silence is kinder than advice. The wind moves through the leaves above them. The branches sway softly, making a pattern of light and shadow on the ground. Sarah looks up. You know, people can be strange. Tom nods. Yeah, sometimes they joke without thinking. Ben sighs. It's not the first time. He picks at his sandwich, quiet now. Tom thinks for a moment, then says softly, you know, you're the one who makes everyone laugh. You always help people feel better. You shouldn't let one comment change that. Ben looks at him, surprised. Then, slowly, he smiles again. Thanks, man. Sarah nods. He's right. Don't stop being you. Ben laughs quietly. I guess you two are my personal motivational speakers. Tom grins. We work for snacks. Ben hands him a piece of chocolate. Deal. They laugh again. The mood lifts. Just like that, the small cloud passes. A few younger students run by, playing tag. Their laughter echoes in the air. A teacher walks past, holding a cup of tea, smiling at the students. The sound of birds fills the background again. Tom leans back, looking at the sky through the branches. It's light blue, with a few white clouds. He closes his eyes for a moment and listens. The world, the wind, the laughter, the calm heartbeat of the afternoon. He feels peaceful. He thinks quietly, every day has moments like this, small, beautiful ones that no one writes about. He opens his eyes again. The sunlight feels warm on his face. Sarah checks her watch. 10 minutes left. Ben groans. Already? Time moves fast when you're not in class. Tom smiles. Because you're not counting the minutes. Ben sighs dramatically. I want to live in lunch break forever. Sarah laughs. If only. Suddenly, a soft thud hits the bench. Another ball, smaller this time, bounces near them. A little boy runs up, out of breath. Sorry, can I get the ball? Tom picks it up and gives it to him. Here you go. The boy smiles shyly. Thanks. Then he runs off again. Ben watches him go. That was me a few years ago. Tom nods. Yeah, time moves fast. Sarah sighs softly. Sometimes I wish we could freeze it. Tom looks at her. Why? So we don't forget these moments, she says. These small, happy ones. Tom smiles. Maybe we don't need to freeze them. Maybe they stay inside us. Ben grins. Wow, that's poetic. Tom laughs. I didn't mean to be. But it's true, Sarah says. We'll remember days like this. The three of them sit quietly for a while, listening to the sound of the world. In every school, in every day, there are small stories, moments of laughter, tiny hurts, gentle kindness. They don't make big news. No one writes them in history books. But they shape who we are quietly. Tom doesn't know it yet, but one day, when he's older, he will look back at this lunch break and remember it, the sunlight, the laughter, the friendship that made him feel seen. The bell rings again. It's time to return to class. Students start packing their bags, throwing away wrappers, saying goodbye. Ben stands, stretching. Back to the battlefield. Sarah smiles. Let's go. Tom picks up his bag and looks at the tree one last time. The sunlight dances on its leaves. He smiles softly. Yeah, he says. Let's go. They walk back toward the school building together, three friends, side by side, ready for whatever the afternoon brings. The lunch bell fades. The chatter of the courtyard slowly turns into the gentle hum of classrooms. Students return to their desks, a little slower than before, a little heavier from full stomachs and warm sunlight. Tom sits down, resting his chin on his hand. The air feels calm, but his eyes are still full of sunlight from outside. He takes a deep breath. The classroom smells like chalk and paper, familiar, peaceful. Mr. Harris walks in, carrying a small stack of papers. He looks cheerful as always. Good afternoon, everyone, he says warmly. The class responds in a slow, sleepy chorus. Good afternoon, Mr. Harris. He smiles knowingly. Yes, the famous afternoon energy, slow and soft. I understand. A few students giggle. Mr. Harris continues, but I have something interesting for you today. Something different. Tom straightens in his chair. Different? That word always wakes him up. Mr. Harris puts the papers down and looks around the room. Today, he says, we're not doing normal classwork. We're going to do a group story project. Instantly, the class wakes up a little more. A story project? Someone repeats. Yes, Mr. Harris says. You'll work in groups of 3. You'll create a short story together. It can be funny, serious, mysterious, anything you like. You'll write it, practice it, and then share it aloud at the end of the day. A wave of whispers fills the room. Tom feels a small spark inside him. He loves stories. He loves words, even when he doesn't always know how to use them perfectly. Mr. Harris continues, this is not a test. This is for creativity, for teamwork, for communication. You can use your imagination. Ben grins. Teamwork? That's us. Sarah nods. Of course. Tom smiles. Okay, what's our story then? Mr. Harris claps his hands. All right, everyone. You have 1 hour. Begin. The classroom becomes a little world of ideas. Groups talk quietly, some laugh, some argue, some already write fast. Tom's group leans close together over one sheet of paper. So, Sarah says, we need a story. Something interesting. Ben leans back. How about a superhero who can talk to animals? Sarah shakes her head. Too easy. Tom thinks for a moment. What about a student who finds a secret door in the school? Ben's eyes light up. Ooh, yes. Hidden adventure. Sarah nods slowly. That could work. They start talking, building the story piece by piece. Tom writes while Sarah gives ideas and Ben adds jokes. Their story grows, a little bit mystery, a little bit funny, a little bit brave. After 20 minutes, the paper is full of words. Sarah looks proud. This is actually good. Ben grins. Of course. We're geniuses. Tom smiles, but he feels something small, a thought he hasn't shared yet. He looks at the page again. The story is about a student who discovers a secret room under the school, a place where old memories live. He likes it, but something is missing. Sarah notices his quiet face. What's wrong? Tom shakes his head. Nothing. Just thinking. About what? She asks. Tom looks out the window for a second, then says softly, maybe our story needs a feeling. Something true. Ben raises an eyebrow. Like what? Tom thinks. Like, why the student goes there. Maybe he feels alone. Or maybe he wants to understand something about himself. Sarah nods slowly. That's deep. Ben shrugs. I like it. Makes it more real. They rewrite a few lines together, making the story more emotional, not just adventure, but meaning. Something about it starts to feel alive. As they finish, Mr. Harris walks around, checking each group. He stops beside Tom's table. How's it going here? Ben smiles. We have a story about a secret room. Mr. Harris nods. Ah, mystery. My favorite. Sarah adds, but also, it's about feelings. About finding something inside yourself. Mr. Harris looks pleasantly surprised. That's very thoughtful. You 3 are quite the team. Tom blushes a little but smiles. Thank you, sir. Mr. Harris walks away, and Tom watches him go. He feels proud, not because the teacher liked it, but because the story feels true to him. Half an hour later, Mr. Harris claps again. All right, everyone. It's time to share. The room fills with small, nervous laughs. One by one, groups begin to present their stories. Some are funny, some dramatic, some a little confusing, but everyone listens kindly. When it's Tom's group's turn, Ben gives Tom a look. You read it, he says. You sound the best. Tom shakes his head quickly. No. You do it. Sarah smiles gently. You wrote most of it. You should share it. Tom feels his heart race a little. He doesn't like speaking in front of everyone, but something in Sarah's eyes gives him courage. He stands slowly, holding the paper with slightly shaking hands. Mr. Harris nods encouragingly. Take your time. Tom begins to read. His voice is soft at first, almost a whisper. But as the story unfolds, something happens. The words start to move naturally. He feels the story instead of just reading it. He tells it like it's his own memory, the student walking through the halls, hearing echoes of laughter, finding the hidden door, facing the quiet room full of memories. The class is silent. Everyone is listening. Even Ben, who usually can't stop joking, sits still. Tom finishes the last line softly, and in that moment, he understood the secret door was never in the school. It was inside him all along. Silence. Then gentle applause. Mr. Harris smiles warmly. Beautifully told, Tom. You have a storyteller's heart. Tom feels his cheeks warm, but he can't stop smiling. He sits down, feeling light, almost like he's floating. Ben leans in and whispers, "You killed it, man." Sarah nods. You really did. The rest of the class passes quickly. Other groups finish, everyone claps and laughs, and the room feels full of life. Mr. Harris thanks them all. You did wonderful work today. Remember, stories are not only made of words. They're made of feelings, memories, and courage. Don't forget that. Tom listens to those words carefully. Feelings, memories, courage. He repeats them silently in his mind. When the bell rings again, students pack their things and start to leave. Tom moves slower than the others. He looks at the paper still on the desk, the story they created. It's simple, but special. It's a small reflection of what he feels inside, the quiet wish to understand himself, to belong, to speak without fear. He folds the paper and puts it in his notebook. Then he stands ready to leave. Sarah catches up to him near the door. You were great, she says softly. Tom smiles. Thanks. I didn't think I could do it. She looks at him. You just needed to try. Ben joins them, yawning loudly. Can we go home now? My brain is tired from all the creativity. They laugh together and walk down the hallway. Every afternoon teaches something. Sometimes it's a lesson from a book. Sometimes it's a lesson from a friend. And sometimes it's a lesson from your own voice, the one that says you can. Tom learns something new today. Not about grammar or history or math, but about himself. He learned that his voice matters. That stories can connect people. And that maybe, just maybe, he could one day tell stories that help others feel seen too. As he walks down the hall, he looks at the sunlight shining through the windows, long golden lines stretching across the floor. He thinks quietly, maybe every story begins right here, in small moments like this. The classroom is quiet again. The golden light of late afternoon shines through the windows, touching the walls softly. Shadows grow longer on the floor. The day feels almost done. Tom sits at his desk, his notebook still open. There are just a few minutes left before the final bell. The air feels heavy and calm, the calm that comes after a long, full day. He can hear the sound of a pencil scratching somewhere, the whisper of pages turning, the gentle sigh of someone waiting for time to pass. Mr. Harris sits at his desk, reading something quietly. He looks up and smiles. All right, class, he says, you've worked hard today. One more minute and you're free. A soft cheer spreads around the room. Ben pretends to stretch like a tired athlete. We survived. Sarah laughs. Barely. Tom smiles too, but he doesn't join in right away. He's still thinking about the story they wrote, about that secret door, about the courage it took to read aloud. He feels proud and a little changed. The clock ticks closer to the hour. Tom looks around the classroom. The desks, the old posters on the wall, the smell of chalk, everything feels so familiar, yet somehow new. Maybe it's him who's changed, not the room. Then ding, ding, ding. The final bell rings. The sound is sharp, clear, alive. Chairs move, voices rise, bags close. The room bursts into movement and noise. It's the sound of freedom, of endings and beginnings. Ben jumps up. Let's go before the bell stops ringing. Sarah laughs. You act like it's a race. It is, Ben says, already halfway to the door. Tom closes his notebook slowly, placing his pencil inside. He stands up and looks at the sunlight for one more moment. It feels like the light is saying goodbye. The hallway is full again, students talking, laughing, running. Lockers close with soft bangs, shoes echo on the floor. Tom walks with Sarah and Ben, the three of them blending into the flow of people. Sarah says, "That was a good day." Ben nods. "Yeah, my favorite part was lunch." She rolls her eyes. "Of course." Ben grins. "But the story project was good too. I didn't expect to enjoy it." Tom smiles. "Me neither." Sarah looks at him. "You were amazing, Tom. I didn't know you could speak like that." Tom shrugs, smiling shyly. "I didn't know either." They walk slowly toward the exit doors. The sunlight outside looks soft and orange now, the kind that makes everything glow. When they step outside, the cool air feels fresh on their faces. The noise of students fades behind them. The playground is emptying, the bus is waiting. The day is almost over. Ben waves his lunchbox in the air. "Tomorrow, same bench?" Sarah nods. "Of course." Tom smiles. "Same time, same place." Ben gives a small salute. "Deal. I'll bring better jokes next time." "Please don't," Sarah says, laughing. They start walking in different directions, Sarah toward her house, Ben toward the buses. Tom waves at them both. "See you tomorrow." Their voices echo back, "See you." Then Tom is alone. He stands there for a moment, watching the courtyard slowly empty. The tree where they sat at lunch still moves gently in the wind. Leaves fall softly, one by one. He walks closer to it, feeling the quiet of the evening settle around him. He sits on the same bench, just for a minute. The sunlight filters through the branches, warm and golden. He looks at the ground, the shadows, the grass, the tiny spots of light dancing. He thinks quietly about the day. The morning rush, the test, the laughter at lunch, the story project, the final bell. So many moments, small ones, but together, they make something beautiful. He takes out his notebook and looks at the story they wrote. The last line stares back at him. The secret door was never in the school. It was inside him all along. He reads it again and smiles softly. He understands it more deeply now. Because today, he found a small secret inside himself too, a door that opened when he spoke, when he believed, when he shared something real. He looks up at the sky. The sun is almost gone, leaving behind colors of orange, pink, and gold. He whispers softly, "Thank you, day." He doesn't even know who he's thanking. Maybe the world, maybe his friends, maybe just the moment itself. He stands and puts his notebook in his bag. The last school bus honks in the distance. He starts walking home, slowly, calmly. As he walks, he listens to the sounds around him, the leaves rustling, the birds calling, the faint laughter far away. The city feels alive, but peaceful. He feels like a small part of something bigger, a rhythm, a story that never really ends. When he reaches the corner of the street, he stops for a second and looks back at the school. The building stands quiet now, windows glowing with the last bit of sunlight. He thinks, it's funny. Every day we come here and think it's the same. But it's never really the same, is it? He smiles to himself. Then he turns and continues walking, his shadow long behind him, his steps light. Every day has a final bell. A moment that says, it's time to go. But what we take with us after the bell, that's what matters. Tom will go home. He'll eat dinner, tell his mom a few small things about his day. He won't mention everything, not the feeling when he spoke, Not the quiet moment under the tree. But those moments will stay inside him. They'll become part of who he is. And tomorrow, when the morning light returns, he'll walk through the school gates again, a little older, a little braver, ready for another story to begin. The sky outside is dark now. The stars are waking one by one. A small wind moves through the trees outside Tom's window. The world is calm. Tom sits at his desk at home. His backpack lies open beside him, his notebook on the table. The house is quiet, only the soft sound of his mother cooking in the kitchen and the hum of the evening. The air smells of warm food and comfort. He takes out the paper from class, the story they wrote. It's a little crumpled now, but it still makes him smile. He reads the first line again, slowly, whispering it to himself. His voice is soft, like a secret. He thinks about everything that happened today, the nervous morning, the bus ride, the laughter at lunch, the project in class, the applause, and the golden light at sunset. So many moments, each small on their own, but together they made something special. He opens his notebook and begins to write, not for homework this time, but for himself. He writes slowly, in simple words, "Today I found my voice." He pauses, then adds, "I learned that small things can mean a lot. A word from a friend, a teacher's smile, a story that feels like your own." He stops writing for a moment and looks out the window. The moonlight touches his desk gently. He smiles quietly, feeling peace inside. Tom remembers how afraid he used to feel about speaking in front of people, how his words used to hide inside him. He always thought his voice wasn't strong enough, that maybe people wouldn't listen. But today, when he read the story aloud, something changed. He saw his classmates listen. He saw them smile. He saw that his voice could reach others. He whispers softly, "It's okay to be scared. But it's better to try." He looks at his notebook again and writes, "When you speak with honesty, people don't just hear your words, they feel them." His mother knocks softly on the door. "Tom, dinner's ready," she says. "Coming," he answers. He closes his notebook and stands up. For a second, he looks at the paper again, the story of the secret door, and smiles. Then he places it gently inside the notebook, like keeping a small treasure safe. He walks to the kitchen. The light is warm there. His mother smiles at him. "How was school today?" Tom sits down at the table. He thinks for a second, then smiles. "It was good," he says. "Really good." She nods, happy. He starts eating quietly, but his mind still wanders to the laughter, the classroom, his friends, and that secret door he found inside himself. After dinner, Tom goes to his room again. The world outside is silent now. He lies on his bed, looking at the ceiling. He feels tired, but in a good way, the kind of tired that comes after a full, meaningful day. He thinks about Ben and Sarah. He thinks about Mr. Harris. He wonders what stories they're all living tonight. Maybe Sarah is reading. Maybe Ben is making jokes to his family. Maybe Mr. Harris is grading papers, smiling to himself. Tom closes his eyes and breathes slowly. He feels thankful for his friends, for his teacher, for his voice. Sometimes we don't realize how much a single day can change us. It starts like any other. We wake up, we hurry, we do our work, we laugh, we feel tired. But somewhere in between those moments, something small happens. A smile. A kind word. A bit of courage. A story. And suddenly, we're not quite the same anymore. Tom doesn't know it yet, but today will become one of those memories that stay forever, not because something big happened, but because something quiet and honest did. He opens his eyes again and looks at the ceiling light. Then he whispers softly, "Thank you today." It's a small sentence, but it carries all the feelings in his heart. He turns off the light and closes his eyes. Outside, the world keeps moving, cars pass, the wind hums, Stars blink slowly above. But inside his room, everything is still, peaceful. And just before he falls asleep, he thinks, tomorrow will bring a new story. And I'll be ready for it. Every day has its own story. Sometimes we don't see it while it's happening. But later, when we sit quietly, when we listen, we can hear the small lessons whispering inside us. The story of today taught Tom something beautiful, that courage begins in small moments, that words have power, and that even simple days can hold great meaning. And maybe that's something we can all remember too. When you wake up tomorrow, listen to the world around you. Look for the stories waiting quietly inside the day. They might change you, just like today changed Tom. Thank you for listening to Today English Podcast. I hope this story helped you feel, imagine, and practice real English slowly, naturally, and from the heart. Remember, every day is a story waiting for you to tell it. Keep learning, keep speaking, and I'll meet you again in the next episode.